The MCU will go down in history as one of the most epic cinematic sagas ever. After Infinity Saga wrapped up, Marvel Studios wasted no time moving on to a new era, the Multiverse Saga. Phase 4 is definitely a slow burn, but it's still impactful in its own way. In today's video, we'll be looking at the MCU's 8 branches that will change everything. First up, MCU Supernatural. The Supernatural branch is the newest addition to the MCU, and it's been hinted at since Eternals. So far, we know that Blade is going to be a major player here, recruiting none other than Dane Whitman on a journey into the supernatural, something that we were really missing out on in the MCU. We don't know many details yet, but what we do know is that this team will operate mostly in secret and be a sort of underground group. Moon Knight is the first project to really dive into the supernatural side of Marvel, and it did a great job of establishing the religious and supernatural themes around Mark Spector. Unfortunately, it looks like we won't be seeing more Moon Knight again until season 2 of the show, with that cliffhanger ending. There was also Werewolf by Night, Marvel's first ever special presentation. This showed us what could happen when you mix horror with the Marvel universe in a very unique way. The vampire, the mummy, the knight, the werewolf, and the swamp monster, these classic monsters really set the tone for this branch of Marvel. There's a lot of potential for this branch to be something huge. Up next, MCU Avengers. The MCU Avengers are the OG bunch that started it all, and they've seen quite a few changes since their inception. But one consistent face has been Bruce Banner, or the Hulk, who is set to still be at the center of this team even after Endgame and its massive snap. We saw him join forces with Shang-Chi to introduce a new Avenger to the team, and then there was the cliffhanger with She-Hulk. He might not be leading them into battle in his own anymore, but his presence and influence will always remain strong on the team. Wong and Captain Marvel are also part of this journey, but they seem to be dividing up the workload between Avengers and some side projects of their own. It looks like Sam Wilson is being set up as the leader at present, with the upcoming movie Captain America focusing on an Earth-based threat that feels very much like something an Avengers team would take on. War Machine and Okoye have proven to be essential members of the Avengers roster since the blip, so it's safe to say that they'll remain integral going forward. But Black Panther Wakanda Forever brought Shuri into the spotlight as the new Black Panther, so she could easily take part in a future Avengers story. Another great addition to the roster could be She-Hulk. After her action-packed finale in She-Hulk Attorney at Law, Jennifer Walters is likely ready for more adventures, and she can provide some much-needed legal help for when the heroes or villains need a little assistance. Plus, her super strength could come in handy once the group needs a little extra oomph. Coming up, MCU Street. MCU Street is another smaller yet still significant branch of the MCU. Clint and Kate Hawkeye are leading the charge with their recently released movie, with characters like Echo and John Walker. This branch is more focused on small-scale criminal activity across the world rather than saving our planet from cosmic threats. And let's not forget some of the other heavy hitters in this camp: Yelena Belova, Bucky Barnes, and all the Thunderbolts. These street-level players are expected to bring in the heavy emotions and personal stakes of this section of the universe. Even though, in a way, we did have a little bit of that in the earlier phases of the MCU, somewhere down the line, things became too much about the greater good, and the heroes we grew up loving were kind of sidelined. It would be really nice to see it all come back to its roots. To top it off, Matt Murdock's recent 16-episode series is set to really drive these stories home. He'll be taking on some big players such as Wilson Fisk, a villainous figurehead for street-level activity. Moving on, the Spider-Mans. Spider-Man No Way Home was a total game-changer for Marvel fans. This movie totally flipped the Marvel Cinematic Universe by introducing what appeared to be a complete reset of one of the most iconic characters. It's clear that Spider-Man is still very much part of the MCU family and remains an integral face of the franchise. But the decision to have Peter Parker make the ultimate sacrifice and leave Spider-Man behind to tell a new story post-Homecoming trilogy has made him his own separate entity. Rumors and anticipation have been building up around Peter Parker's next superhero venture. After 3 movies outlining his origin story, fans everywhere are eager to see what lies ahead for the beloved wall-crawler. Who knows who he'll run into and what trouble he'll find himself in? The possibilities are truly endless. Not to mention MCU Mutants. The MCU Mutants are a pretty interesting branch because they've actually been a huge part of Marvel's Phase 4, and it'll probably be the center of attention in the post-Multiverse Saga era. Even though X-Men have yet to enter the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they've still found a way in. It all started started with Patrick Stewart's return as Professor X, which really got the ball rolling on introducing mutants into the MCU. But then Ms. Marvel dropped a huge bombshell on us with one of the biggest plot twists in comic book history. Kamala Khan is the first official MCU mutant. The Marvels will be a big moment for the MCU, as it'll finally set up one of their most beloved characters to take center stage and guide them into the mutant era. It's worth noting that this character will basically take on a similar role to Peter Parker in terms of how she helps expand the mutant world. We can't forget about Namor either. His reveal as a mutant was an interesting and subtle move. His anti-hero status within the MCU makes him even more intriguing, but it's great that they're finding ways to incorporate mutants into the world without relying on just the X-Men characters. The MCU is becoming more and more organized with every project. We already have the introduction of X-Men, two giant names in Ms. Marvel and Namor, as well as Wanda's mysterious powers that haven't yet been fully explored. It's clear that this mutant branch has a lot to offer and could be a great addition to the MCU. Up next, MCU Cosmic. The cosmic branch of the MCU has been around since Phase 1. With Thor being at the center of it all, he was the literal bridge between Earth and what lies beyond our atmosphere, and he continues to be a major player in this world. And his fourth movie, Thor: Love and Thunder, is not just monumental for him, but for the MCU as a whole, introducing us to even more cosmic characters like Valkyrie, Korg, Zeus, Hercules, and Eternity. Not to mention, we now have a true cinematic journey into mystery on our hands. We've seen this branch in the MCU grow so much over the years, and it's only getting bigger. The MCU's cosmic branch has been on a journey of exploration ever since Thor laid the groundwork and introduced audiences to 9 realms. But it wasn't until the Guardians of the Galaxy came along that we really got to see the mysterious planets and galaxies. Now, with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and Adam Warlock on the horizon, we're about to dive deeper into outer space. The newest addition to this cosmic journey is the Eternals. Even though most of their origin story was set on Earth, a lot of their plot revolved around traveling through time and space. This is probably going to be a project that'll look deeper into one of the most iconic villains in the MCU cosmic branch, Thanos. Fury and Captain Marvel are basically the Earth's cover for any intergalactic threats, and it looks like that's about to be tested in 2023, not only with Secret Invasion, but the Marvels as well. Coming up, MCU Young Avengers. Well, with the MCU expanding more and more each day, it looks like we'll be needing another team of Avengers to handle all the action. That's right, a developmental squad is in the works. The Young Avengers have yet to be confirmed by Marvel, but if you look closely enough, there are some definite hints that they may be on their way. Characters like Wiccan and Speed from WandaVision and Falchion from The Falcon and the Winter Soldier have already made their appearances, giving us some clues into the Young Avengers could be coming soon to the MCU. Currently, the two frontrunners for Young Avengers are Kamala Khan, aka Ms. Marvel, and Ironheart. Ms. Marvel is having a major moment in the Marvels where she will appear in a co-leading role. On the other hand, Ironheart, who was first introduced in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, is set to star in her own series. Finally, MCU Multiverse. The MCU's multiverse is skyrocketing in popularity, and it's not showing any signs of slowing down. It all started with Doctor Strange, then was teased in Avengers Endgame, and has been growing ever since. We've already seen WandaVision, Loki, What If, Spider-Man No Way Home, and the Multiverse of Madness exploring the depths and possibilities of this concept. But it's all been leading up to one big event, Secret Wars. Kang is the Thanos of the multiverse, a powerful being capable of manipulating space and time to get what he wants. But this isn't his only trick. Loki and Sylvie, two key players in the multiverse narrative, are almost certainly working with him on something huge. They've been at the forefront of this story dealing with He Who Remains, and it looks like they might be behind the madness of the multiverse. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is where Scott Lang and Hope Van Dyne come indirectly involved as they explore this branch of the universe and uncover Kang's true motives. This branch holds a lot of weight in the MCU, and it's likely that whatever's going on here will shape how various parts of the multiverse interact with each other. With Loki and Sylvie leading the way, and Kang pulling all the strings, it almost is certain that we're heading towards a big moment when all these elements come together. That's all for today's video. Were there any MCU branches we missed? Make sure to let us know in the comments below. As always, give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.